The Nigerian government has charged 3 Supreme Court officials with 9 counts, including alleged diversion of 2.2 billion naira belonging to the court. The chief registrar of the courts, Mr. Ahmed Saleh, Mohammed Sharif, and Rilwan Lawal are also accused of receiving gratification totaling 74 million naira from private contractors providing services to the Supreme Court between 2009 and 2016. Data feeds still coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com, youtube.com/channelsweb. You can be part of the show. You can also look at us now, m.channelstv.com. We've got all our social media platforms covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimbus Umar CTV or use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts on the subject. The National Judicial Council has barred judges who are under investigation for various offences from sitting until the cases against them are concluded. The council explains in the statement that the judicial officers shall not be standing trial for alleged corruption-related offences and be performing judicial functions as well at the same time. The decision taken at its 79th meeting appears to be a U-turn from its earlier position on the alleged corruption case against the judges. What does this mean for the judiciary and the people of Nigeria? Are the bad weeds at the verge of being rooted out? It's prime time in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. Right behind me, data feeds still arriving all in one place simultaneously. You can be part of the show, tweet at Gimbas Umar CTV or use the hashtag State of the Nation, air your views on the subject. Inland security has been a source of concern for this administration and once before it as well. One could easily sum up that the current administration is having the worst of it with cases of kidnappings, insurgency and other crimes. Today we'll be focusing on inland security apparatus and what states caught up in this dilemma could be doing. Jerry Omodara, a security expert, joins me on State of the Nation. Many thanks indeed for coming. Let's begin from Kogi State, where you come from, the confluent state. It has been in the news for one form of crime or the other. How would you describe the current security situation in Kogi State?
Thank you very much, Omar. Kogi can be described as very peaceful now compared to what we had maybe last year or previous years before the taking over of His Excellency Alhaji Yahya Bello. As of today, Kogi is peaceful and we have so many, lot of development programs that are coming up that make the state now conducive for everyone to stay. You remember, Gimia, that within the last 2 years, Kogi has been in the news as far as kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism, and so many other vices. However, what we have already put in place today, His Excellency have tackled it very well that we are now having a better, secure environment. Within the, let's say, for example, in 2015, between January and December, we had not less than 88 kidnap cases in Kogi State. And this also came up to the time the His Excellency took over. And in his inaugural address, he clearly stated that he was going to meet with security agencies, and that was exactly what happened. He met with security agencies and we strategized. And what did we do? First is to identify the causes of criminalities in Kogi State. The high rise of kidnapping, the high rise of armed robbery and cultism. So when all these were identified, and as soon as we settled down, what he did next was, like, we particularly visited even those that were arrested, asked them why were you involved in crime, and why was one thing or the other not put in place in the past.
Mr. Modara,
so by the time we identify,
permit me to just chip in here. What do you think is the biggest challenge for you in tackling insecurity in your state when you compare with other neighboring states, 10 of them, as a matter of fact, that borders with Kogi? What does this bring to your table?
The challenges is that Kogi is very strategic in Nigeria. It's almost at the middle of Nigeria. However, you know, the porous border, the porous entry point in Kogi is very, very high. What we have is that you have boundary with 9 states, including Abuja. That is to say, you have people coming into the state, passing the state, and we have a data that not less than 80% of north-south crossing transit within Nigeria passes through Kogi. That is to still say that the remaining 27 states that we don't even have borders with, 27 states, they still have to pass through Kogi in going to either the north or south. And we have borders with every part of the country. You are talking of the Igbo, you are talking of Hausa, you are talking of Yoruba. All this is also a blessing, and in some instances, it could be a very big challenge when it has to do with security. We have porous borders, we have places in which we have hilly and swamping terrain in Kogi. All these are challenges that was right in place before, even before the governor took over, and it was clearly tackled.
When you're talking about the governor, what is the policy thrust of your administration to ensure peace and security for your people?
The policy thrust of the government first is to identify, to know that good governance is the essence of being in government in the first instance. When he already identified good governance, we now look at the problem that is very peculiar to Kogi. And in doing this, what was done so far is that he clearly has what is known as New Direction Agenda, and this look at providing infrastructure in Kogi State, taking the youth out of the street, providing livelihood for women, and providing jobs for the citizens of Kogi State. So when we look at providing all these infrastructure, you are already taking away insecurity, because when you have people that are idle, they have nothing to do, they are just one way or the other, wandering up and down, that is when they are involved in one insecurity or in one crime or the other. So when you tackle insecurity, and when you tackle infrastructural development and you put things in place, you are invariably tackling insecurity. So the policy thrust of the government is to ensure that Kogi is well developed, justice must be done and must be seen done in all aspects.
Let's dig a little deeper. Let's dig a little deeper into the security situation in Kogi State. You know all too well that the Meyete Allah herdsmen recently had their leader killed in your state, going by the recent calls to stop open grazing, as we saw also in Ekiti State by the governor there, Ayodele Fayose. What is your government doing, you in particular, since you're in charge of the security of the state? What are you doing to prevent a reprisal, for instance?
You see, the issue of Alhaji Ibrahim Nabaka Jalido's death is very painful to the state. That man was a very good man because he went from one grazing center, from one Fulani settlement or the other, talking to them to keep away from crime. And that is one of the reasons why the governor immediately asked the deputy governor to visit him with a team, to visit the family, and to sympathize with them. What the government is doing is to ensure that we have peace among the communities. Whether you are Fulani or whether you are part of the state, not even just a visitor, we ensure that everyone have the needed welcome idea to put everybody as belonging to Kogi. And when you have that, you are ensuring that you don't have divisions among the people living in Kogi.
But it is a fact.
It
is also a fact that there are frayed nerves as a result of of the killing of the Meyete Allah leader in your state. There are frayed nerves right now. What are you doing to calm the situation down?
We are talking to all the people concerned, and I told you just now that we personally visited the family. The Fulani people living in Kogi, they know that they have to keep peace, and we'll be enjoying staying with them. That is why you hardly hear crisis among the Fulani people in Kogi. It's not that we don't have them go into communities, we don't have crises, with one community or the other. I remember just about 3-4 days ago, we were tackling Fulani thief issues between Olen and Igba, and we also have in Bagana area in Omala local government. But in doing all these things, we only have proactive measures in meeting up with them. By the time you talk to them, they too, they need to graze, to have grazing for their cows, and the people, the community need to have their farmland, being protected without any invasion. So what we are doing currently is to ensure that we mediate.
Do you like what is going on in Ekiti State? Do you like the model the governor has chosen to adopt for the people of Ekiti State?
The model he has taken in Ekiti may be very good for that state, may be good for him, because all the states are not the same. Just like I told you at the beginning of this program, Kogi is very strategic, very poor with other border with several states. What is good for Ekiti may not be applicable in Kogi. In our own right, we will look at what is suitable for Kogi and we will follow it. The governor is equal to task to know what to do and to tackle the issue of Fulani herdsmen and other issues as related to that.
And thanks indeed, Jerry Omodara. You are indeed the security advisor to the Kogi State government. Many thanks indeed for sharing your thoughts with us here on State of the Nation.